Hey guys! Today I'm going to go over with you the different kind of utilities that are here in Ghana. I know that especially expats coming to move and to live here, it's good to almost get like a heads up on what to expect here when it comes to like everyday living kind of stuff. And so today I will be going over the different type of utilities from electricity to gas, etc. So you guys will kind of know a little bit of what to expect when you're coming here, okay? So stay tuned. Okay, so before anything, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate it, all the love out there. So let's get started. Okay, so first I'm going to start with electricity. Electricity is definitely a necessity. You can't work without it unless you're going through a power outage. Now, that's something different. You have to be without it. But for electricity, it runs on what you call credits. It isn't like you get a bill from SoCal Edison and you pay, or Department of Water and Power or whatnot. You have to put all your credits on one card, and you have to hold it up to a meter, and it is this card right here. I hope you can see. It has the emblem of Ghana Electrical Power Company. And you have to hold it up to your meter every time before and after you fill your card. So you have to hold it up, and whenever you get ready to run out of credits, electricity credits, the light will flash blue, and then when you're out, it just stays blue. So, but the cool thing is that when you run out of credits, you might forget. Like there's a lot of times where mom's like, oh my gosh, and the place is just pitch black. So you just go down to your meter and you place the card up there on your meter, and it will give you what you call bonus credits. So, and that allows you maybe about 6 to 12 hours, probably a good close to 12 hours, depending on how much electricity that you use. You can, and that'll buy you more time, if you gotta, do stuff really fast and then go pay your bill, which I think is kind of cool. So, so just in case you forget, you won't be without electricity. But, and another thing too is we pay about 100 CDs per month, guys. This is per month. It depends on the family size and how many of you guys there are. There's only the two of us, just me and my mom, so we go through a little less electricity, but so that's enough to get us normally through a month, but it also depends on you. It depends on how much electricity that you use, but typically that's about like how much we put on the card, so we won't run out of electricity because we need our electricity. We gotta work and gotta function, unless of course there's a power outage. But that is how it works. And then you go to a place. They have like these places, but you make sure that the place has this, like on their sign, on their sign, and that means that you can fill your credits there. So you got to make sure that it has that sign, and you can just go to like any place that has that sign around your neighborhood or any local place, and and you can fill your credits that way. Okay, everybody, so this is where we come to get our credits for our meter. We just ran out, so we're here.
Okay, thank you.
Of course, like coming here and you're like, renting from like, you're in like I guess like an environment where you don't have to worry about it. Like my mom and I, we lived in a complex that took care of the electricity for you, so you don't have to worry about it. But when you're on your own, when you're getting your new place and you're getting your new setup, it's good to know about these things. So next is water. Water is accessible here, of course. They have what it's called. It's almost like a poly tank, where it's this big black gigantic tank that every like house and place has, that holds your water for you. The place that we lived at, Legacy Gardens, when we first moved here, the way Nana had it set up, the landlord there, it was just a limitless amount of water. So a lot of people, they don't have to pay for water because they have what you call like a borehole. And the borehole is like an instrument that gets the water from the ground. So you don't have to worry about paying for water. It's your own personal water, which is kind of cool, which is really refreshing. We were so used to getting water bills, and I just wanted to strangle the bills because I'm like, this is water, this is a necessity that everybody needs. But here, you don't have to pay for it unless you're like my mother and I. We moved here and the landlord set it up where the water is coming through a water pump. I was like, okay, why did you set it up that way? Because it runs on electricity. So for the pump to run, you have to pay for the credits to go on that pump. So same exact thing. You get a card, you go to those places to fill it, and you have to fill the water credits as well. And we're actually blessed enough where one of our neighbors works for Ghana Electrical Power, so we just give her the money and she'll take care of it, and she goes and pays for our water credits for us. She just puts the credits on the meter. But most places I don't think here has that. It depends on where kind of like you rent from, but a lot of places have a borehole, so you don't have to pay for water. But in the case if you are, yes, you have to pay for it. And I think we pay her like about maybe 40 cedis for the month, to keep it running. So that's a little bit of a drag, but yeah. Okay, so now we're moving on to gas. Gas, same thing, no bill. You have to, you have what you call like a methane tank, and you have to rig it up from your kitchen, your oven, your stovetop to outside. And it's like this gray tank, methane tank, that you have to fill. For us, it's every 6 months we have to fill it, because we didn't get like a huge tank, and those normally last maybe about a year depending on how much gas that you use. But if you run out of gas, you have to go to a place that has gas, that has gasoline. And I think you pay, how much does my mom pay? I think she pays about like 80 cedis to fill it. And you go and the person just, fills it for you. It's a little bit of a drag though, because there's been times where we have run out of gas and we were cooking something and preparing something, and it's like, it's kaput. I have to say, I miss just paying a bill and your gas just being on, but here things and systems run differently. So, it's a little bit of a drag, but you have to get used to it. And so that's the way the gas situation works, unless you're living or renting from somewhere where, the gas is already supplied for you. But yeah, needs like a big methane tank. And I think we paid like 100 some odd cedis for it, maybe tops 120 tops cedis for our little methane tank, but we had a little one, so it's more if you get a slightly bigger one. But so moving on to cable. They do have cable providers out here. It's the main provider out here is called DSTV. They have other cable providers such as I think Quasi TV. And but the main one is DSTV, and it's all like a blanket under the Multi-Choice Africa, where programming and everything comes from. They even have GoTV, and GoTV is more of like I guess like a provider that plays it has a lot of Ghanaian programming. So that's a little bit cheaper, but DSTV has the cable that we're used to coming from the West. They have like Lifetime, BET, the Food Network. They have all that good stuff. They have even like BBC. They have different programming that comes from England as well. And they also have Nigerian stations. And I have to say, I kind of got into a little bit of the Nigerian movies. They have a station called ROK, and it was kind of cool. It's like seeing the different Nigerian stations as well. And of course, they have like sports channels, and football here is big. Soccer, as we call it, especially in America, we call it soccer. But I know other places call it football. But football fanatics here. So they have like all the football channels and sports and all that for my sports fans out there. And for DSTV, I think the installation, because it comes within, you have to get a decoder box and the installation. And if these are satellite dishes, mind you, they're not just like regular cable as we know it. and from the West, they're satellite dishes. So you have to pay for the installation and pay for the decoder box as well. And of course, there are different packages for your needs. I know with us, when we had it, we don't have it anymore, but when we had it, we got like toward the cheapest package because it was just the two of us, so it wasn't like a necessity. But I think like to have it monthly, I'm sorry, I had a brain fart, guys. To have it monthly, it cost about 125 CDs to monthly, our monthly subscription. But there are cheaper ones that range up, that go from like 50, 70 CDs, all the way to 330 CDs. That's for your DSTV premium. For people who can afford that, that is lovely. You get more channels and everything. So it depends on the package that you get. But probably with installation and decoder, it costs no more than maybe about, this is tops, guys, 400 CDs. It may have been cheaper than that, but we got it like about a year or so ago, so I kind of forgot the exact price, but that's tops. I think we paid a little bit cheaper than that. But with DSTV, the only drag about DSTV is that they have, of course, the programming that we're used to coming from the West, but they have a lot of repeat stuff. And I have to say, I'm a Hustle and Soul lover. So I love the show Hustle and Soul, and I was talking to a friend of mine in the States, and he was like, oh, they're already on season 3. And I was working on season 2 here. So the programming is a little bit farther behind. They get it from the West, but it's a little bit, the program is a little bit more delayed. So, you know, if you want to catch your show, like thinking you're going to catch it the way you're going to catch it in the States, you're not. You're going to be behind probably maybe a season. So that kind of sucks. And you kind of have the same old programming. It's cool though. It's cool though to get kind of like the things that we're kind of used to watching. But the programming is a little bit delayed and a lot of repeat episodes come around. But it's a big provider out here. And also, like I said, Quasi TV, I think altogether you pay about like 145 CDs for the installation. I think it's 75 CDs for the decoder box. So it kind of depends on what you're used to. DSTV basically has a monopoly here all over the continent, not just here in Ghana, because I think they're a South African company. But so Quasi TV here is still a little bit of a baby, but they have Quasi TV I think throughout Africa too. But Quasi TV I think offers a little bit lesser channels. So yeah, so if you're looking for cable, it definitely is here, and that's what you do for cable. So as I mentioned with cable, we're used to the 3-in-1. And especially in America, but probably other places in the West too. When it comes to Time Warner and DirecTV and Dish, you get your internet, your phone, and your TV clumped all in one. But it's not like that. Everything is separate. Also too with your cable, I have to warn you guys. With especially DSTV, they have what it's called Extra View. Extra View is where you can get, like if you have your cable in 3 different rooms, you can get a different programming and different station in 3 different rooms. Of course, coming from the West, that is, supplied for you. You get cable, you can play, different things in, room. Your brother plays something in one room, your dad plays something in the other room, your mama plays something in another room. But it's not like that here. For Extra View, you have to pay definitely a lot more money to get it. My mom and I, we were like thinking about getting Extra View, and we didn't get it because it was definitely more expensive. So here, you have to, it's really designated for one room. It's kind of weird. We were having some problems. They worked it out for us where we were able to get TV in our living room, in my mom's room, and in my room. But they had to pull a lot of strings. They had to, go up in our roof to wire it in a certain way. But we had to look at the same programming. So like if something's playing in the living room and if I'm in my room, it had to be the same thing. So it was a little bit of a drag because we're used to looking at our own programming and things like that, but it is not like that here. So So definitely, if you have your cable or your satellite dish installed, definitely work that out in advance, or be prepared for that not being there. If you can pay for extra view, have at it. I mean, it's good to have, but you do have to pay more for it. And another thing, as if you have like anything going wrong with the cable, or you need somebody to come out, or even to install it, it ain't like, you know, Time Warner or DirecTV with their trucks and dish. You just come with the trucks. Everything is furnished for you. You have all the equipment, and the cable guy is there. It's slightly different. Here you have to pay for their gas to get to where you're at, or you have to transport them yourself. So it's a situation where you kind of have to, you know, go through a little bit to get things installed, or things done for you. If something's wrong with the cable, you have to kind of go out of the pocket for that as well. So it's a little bit of a drag, but that's the way it is with cable. So I'm moving on to phone. Landlines, I think they have landlines out here, but they're not quite as prevalent. I would say a lot of people have like mobile phones. So, and the way you get your mobile phone it's kind of similar to the electricity credits. You have this little chip here. I hope you guys can see it. Please focus. We have MTN. We use MTN and Vodafone. And you have to get this chip. And you have to fill it, you know, to your specifications. If you want 20 CDs, if you want 50 CDs, you have to fill it every time, you know, if you run out of credits and minutes on your phone. I have to say my minutes, they last me a little while if I put maybe 50 CDs on my phone. And if you go into MTN, for instance, because there's MTN, Vodafone, Tigo, and Airtel are like the main phone and internet providers out here. A lot of people have MTN. MTN, another South African company. I think Vodafone too is, if I'm not mistaken, but don't quote me on that, guys. But I know MTN is a South African company. So, but they're all over. They're all over, you know, Africa, the continent. So, so when you go in, when you kind of get your phone here, make sure your phone is unlocked, because my phone wasn't, and I had to go through a whole lot. So make sure your phone is unlocked before you leave, so you can use these credits and everything. And I think you go into MTN and you just have to show, like, you know, your passport and all that happy stuff and all that identification. But they make it pretty easy for you to definitely get a chip for your phone. But this is what it looks like. I think even Vodafone's chip looks like this too. Maybe even Airtel's and Tigo's is as well. And also with your phone as well, as they have places like little kiosk stands like along the streets that has like an umbrella. For like MTN, it's a yellow umbrella and it says MTN. Even for Vodafone, their color is red, so it has like a red umbrella, and you get like scratch off cards. It's what you call scratch off cards. So if you don't want to go into an actual MTN or Vodafone or Airtel, Tigo store, you can get them along the roadside. Now, personally, my mom and I, we go into the actual establishment because we feel, I guess, a little bit more comfortable doing that. But a lot of people, like if you're on the go, if you really run out of credits on your phone, and you can just go to a place on the street and they have the scratch cards for you, and you just scratch the number there, and you enter it into your phone, and you can put however money that you want to put on, like 20 or 5 CDs. I mean, you know, and they will give you a card, and you scratch it off, and you can enter that into your phone, and that'll give you your credit. And that's leading up to the internet. The internet here, it's the way they have it bundled, it's a little bit tricky. Personally, I'm still trying to get it. My mom and I, it's a little bit tricky. You know, they have different bundles for how many gigabytes that you get. Because you get a box, you get like a router box. And this is what the actual box that came in, this is what it looks like. It's called MTN TurboNet, and it is 4G. And the speed of it, it's okay. It kind of acts a little quirky. They just switched their system though to the box that I showed you. And it's, personally, I liked our old box better. It was a black box. This one now is it's a little bit more delayed, like, you know, with the internet, with the response of the internet. But I mean, but it works fine. And normally for our Wi-Fi, we used to pay about 300 CDs, and that's a lot for Wi-Fi, but we work, so we had to make sure that our internet could not be shut off. Plus, we're on, you know, the internet a lot, we're on YouTube, and, you know, so we use the internet a lot. So it was, so we wanted to make sure that we had enough gigs. But now they've set it up with this box where it's a situation where you can roll over your data. So let's say if you have you pay maybe about 200 and some odd CDs for maybe 24 gigs. And they have the bundles broken down for you. It's a little confusing, but also Vodafone has the same type of system. You know, so MTN has been taking, you know, pretty good care of, you know, of us. We've hit a few kinks with MTN, but we're still with them. Vodafone, I've heard pretty decent things about Vodafone. I will say though that our good friend of ours who's had so many problems with Vodafone, where now we can't even get in touch with him anymore. He just like disappeared from the face of the earth. They jacked his phone, his internet, everything up. So it kind of depends on your experience. Like I said, kind of getting with the utilities, it's a little bit of something to get used to. But so I think I covered the phone, the internet, and the TV services that are here. And so almost forgot your trash. There are trash providers that are here, and they do come. You know, it depends on the area that you live in and who you get in touch with. Our landlord happened to already have a trash person already. So, you know, all of us that are here on this compound or in this place, we have a trash service. And they have like they call it rubbish, the rubbish bins here, but you have to pay for them. I don't know how much they cost though. But what we have, which a lot of people use, is like a big oversized like trash bin. They sell them along like on the roadside and places in neighborhoods where you get this big rubbish bin that you put your garbage in, and then the trash people come and get it. We pay for trash, I think about 20 CDs a month, if I'm not mistaken. We pay about 20 CDs a month for the service, and they come and they get the trash. So probably my suggestion to anybody who's maybe coming to live or is to like get like a big rubbish bin for your can. And I think we paid like about 80 CDs. But we kind of got like a bigger one. The smaller ones are cheaper. So it depends on how much trash you're gonna use like in a week, if they pick it up like every week. So but it's definitely doable. It's definitely doable, guys. But if you get a rubbish bin though, make sure, especially if it's sitting out on the roadside waiting to be picked up, make sure that it has a hole in it. We have had about 2 rubbish bins, I know at least one, but 2 rubbish bins that have been stolen because people get it to fetch water. But and they look for rubbish bins that have no holes in it and that are fairly nicer, so they can fetch the water. And we went to our neighbor and we were like, what is going on? How come our rubbish bins are being stolen? And she was saying, oh, it's because you don't punch a hole in it. So yes, if you have a rubbish bin sitting on the parkway where other people can get to it, make sure that it is damaged in some type of way, like have a hole or something in it, because they can't fetch water because, well, you know, it's going to come out. So I was like, oh, okay, but that doesn't belong to you. That belongs to somebody else, but you go with it, right? So so that's what the deal is with the trash. So I hope this video has definitely helped you. If it has, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and stay tuned for my next videos. Bye.